Get your horror figures at Big Bad Toy Store at the link in the description.
Horror, kaiju, Dragon Ball, and more. Steven's Toy Reviews.
Hey there, collectors, it's Steven here, and happy Friday the 13th to you, and I bring this video to you with some rather good news. We are actually seeing a brand new Jason figure out in the wild, and it is going to be the New Blood Jason. That's right, it is released, orders should be fulfilled soon, and to celebrate not only that, but Friday the 13th in proper, I'm going to be reviewing today Jason from Friday the 13th Part 2 from NECA, the ultimate figure. This is one I've actually been relatively excited to review, never had the chance, and of course, since we have every horror fanatic's favorite holiday except for Freddy Krueger Day, wink wink nudge nudge, for next month, what better time to review him? Now, I'm actually not necessarily as excited for this figure as I am for what I consider this one to be a glorified accessory set. What am I talking about? Let's take a look to see whether or not this Jason is worth adding to your collection, and spoiler alert, whether you like this movie or this design or not, you can clearly see right now, this figure is. So right off the bat, this is going to be a relatively older ultimate figure from NECA. I do believe that this is actually going to be well prior to when they started using the face dot printing technology. However, with reissues always hitting the market time after time after time, you will see in some up-close shots that this paint application technology has been used for this particular release. So with the different reissues that are out on the market, it's hard to say, considering that, you just grab this from the SKU and it gets shipped to you. So I can't guarantee that every single one is going to look like this, but what I can guarantee is that they're all going to look good, respective of from when they were released. And the one thing that I really appreciate for this one, we'll take a look at the minute, is going to be the painted elbow joints that actually have a print to them that matches Jason's shirt, and it doesn't flake. You're even going to see me demonstrate this in the articulation section. But for how Jason actually looks overall, he does have that sack head, which is very nice. We see that ominous eye peeking out, and if you look up close and personal, you will see that dot printing technology that is going to be used not only here, but also on the hand for the blood. So kudos to NECA for really using this technology where it's actually rather appropriate and making all of the paint application and all of the details look pretty nice. Generally speaking, if you are a fan of this Jason, I can't really say that it looks too bad. I'm really impressed. Personally, I'm not really thrilled with this design. This isn't my Jason, admittedly. Yes, the sack head is brought back for the remake, which I do particularly like that design of Jason, but still, while it's not my favorite, I can definitely say that this figure does look pretty good. This Jason is an older ultimate figure, which means the articulation is, well, it's not double jointed elbows and a whole bunch of neck movement, but hey, we get a few points of articulation that, it's pretty good. So the head connection is actually going to be, as I hit the microphone, just on a peg for both of the heads. So that peg plugs into the head, and then that is going to be on a ball joint. So obviously on this sack head here, we're not going to have too much range of movement, but this is rather flexible, surprisingly. So we can get him to look down a little bit, up a little bit, and twist and turn from side to side. You can do a little bit of a head tilt, which is pretty good. The other head sculpt is pretty much going to have a similar range of movement. He's got a lot of hair on one side of the head, which is a little flexible. So you do get a little bit more range of movement, but it's effectively going to be the same. Now for the shoulders, we do have swivels and hinges. Please note that because of the clothing, he kind of goes out in a bit of a V, so it's not necessarily a V cut, but just something to keep in mind. And we obviously can spin all the way around. We do have the hinge, like I made mention, so he can T-pose. No dedicated bicep swivel on those little chicken wing arms, but we do have a single elbow hinge that gives us that much range of movement there, and since that pegs in, we do get a swivel there with nice movement. Now, as you saw before, there is an actual pattern on the joints, so whenever anyone says that NECA can't do well-painted elbow joints, this is proof they can. Anyway, no paint flakage, which is fantastic. The wrists are going to be ball joints, and there are no interchangeable hands, so it is what it is. Now, there's going to be a ball joint in the waist, You can twist and turn from side to side. He is wearing those overalls, so you don't want to break anything, but we already have broken overalls down here. Fun. But that means we can see the hip joints better. So this is going to be the older style hip joints for NECA, which is effectively just going to be swivels that allow you to kick forward and back, just like so, and then hinge on out to the side, just like that. Now, these are known to come off centered, which is why you can kind of see Jason is leaning a little bit. Now, you can just kind of force them up one way or the other, and that can kind of fix the lean. I actually have a video with Superman to help you with that. Now, those do plug into the thighs on a swivel, so you can twist and turn the leg. We have a single knee hinge, that much range of movement, and since that pegs in as well, we do get a swivel. Ankles are actually going to be on ball joints, and surprisingly, we do get a decent range of movement for ankle rockers and twisting and turning the foot around. So, very good. Overall, the articulation for Jason, it leaves quite a bit to be desired, and just because we got that head there, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate. But if you do know how to get good poses out of your figures, then, well, quite frankly, you should have an easy time articulating Jason and getting him in to some fun poses. Whee! Accessories, and this is probably my favorite release of all for the Jason figures, simply because of the accessories. So this Jason for weapons is going to come with machete, pitchfork, pickaxe, knife, and spear. Now, he's also going to come with an interchangeable head without any sort of covering, and then he's going to come with Pamela's head and a campfire campfire you can kill people by. So here's going to be the alternate head sculpt. Very creepy, fits Jason well. This is going to be the only time Jason's going to be looking like this pretty much until the remake. So yeah, if you're liking Jason, then congratulations, here you go. Not quite sure how his eye somewhat moves in later movies, but it is what it is. Cool. Fits the character. Now for the weapons, and Jason's going to come with plenty of them. I already listed them all here. The machete is not going to be the staple machete we've come to know and love in future movies. This one's got a little bit of a curve to it, but still, Jason comes with a fantastic arsenal. You can see him in some fun poses here. If you want to mimic Michael Myers, you can do that. Hey, anything you need, you can pretty much get him in a pose and get him to chase after another character on your shelf if you were really looking to do that. Now here comes a rather mixed accessory, but I still think it is fantastic, especially if you were to use this for a diorama or a rather unique display on the shelf, such as making a shrine, and that's going to be Pamela's head. I do think that it is not necessarily quite on mark for source material. I think it's a little skinny. However, her head looks fantastic. We do see some rotting flesh there. We do see the teeth. Looks like she's missing her teeth up top, but we do see the bottom row sticking out. And then we have some fantastic gore underneath. Now, the issue here, it's just the head. So in the video game Jason release that came out later, not the exclusive SDCC release, they corrected this and there was a support stand. Here, it's just the head. So Jason can hold this if you really stretch out one of his hands, but otherwise, you're going to need a stand to get the head to float. So make a diorama with it. Now, the most important accessory of all to every single Jason release, and I don't know why they didn't reissue this one accessory, and it's going to be the campfire. Admittedly, it is a real pain to get the fire to line up with the logs in the overall display, but once you do, it is fantastic. The only thing that I wish that they would do is somehow work this into a deluxe release for some Jason figure that they're hopefully looking to do at some point in the future. Maybe the licensing thing with the movie is dying down, because in the spirit of Splinter release, they basically did this, but blue, and it lights up. If they could do this and get it to light up, that would be amazing. But yes, this is the sole reason why you're going to be looking to get this if you don't like this Jason. So overall, for accessories, the way that I look at this release is you're going to be picking this up. You're going to be getting not necessarily famous incarnation of Jason, but you're going to be getting a bunch of weapons, which are fantastic. Pamela's head goes with all of the Jasons, and of course that campfire, useful for Jason. or any other horror icons. So generally speaking, aside from maybe some support stands or other accessories, like maybe the Camp Crystal Lake accessory set, yeah, that's pretty good. And you know I got videos to help you out if you're looking for other things on the market. Now we'll go ahead and move on over to a size comparison where you can see I'm not quite sure how all of the horror icons should scale with one another, i.e. Leatherface, but this Jason will definitely tower over some of your 1/12 scale figures, and I think should fit in well with your other NECA horror icons. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. If you are a fan of this incarnation of Jason, then congratulations, though this is not necessarily going to be the most articulated figure in your collection, not really engineered well, and I hope they would go back and redo some of the Ultimates at some point in the future. This figure looks fantastic, and if you're not a fan of this incarnation of Jason, regardless, the accessories alone are more than enough to warrant the purchase of this figure, because if you have any other Jason in your collection, all of the accessories here definitely apply to that one. Whether it's going to be part 3, the remake, Freddy vs. Jason, doesn't matter. The campfire and Pamela's head specifically, useful for all of them. You can make fantastic dioramas. You can even use that campfire for non-horror figures. So yeah, this is definitely worth the purchase. Horror fan or not, pick one up before. If the licensing issue with the movies and the franchises go south, these go off the market and you're going to be paying a lot in the aftermarket. Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now, you've heard a lot from me. I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.